What up, traders? What up, investors? Ken here from Dyslexic Investor, and thank you for tuning in for another fantastic live stream. Again, Sunday, most people should know that the equity markets will be closed tomorrow due to the observation of MLK, Martin Luther King Day. I believe the futures will be open slightly. The futures are open as of right now on Sunday here. We can go over a little quick market overview, look at some stocks, look at some of the stocks that you folks are putting within the chat, and just kind of see how the night goes and just be talking, again, stocks, futures, options, all kinds of fun stuff, and looking at the potential market ahead, potentially looking for some chop or something to come through. Again, we don't know. We can't predict the future. All that fun stuff, blah, 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 blah. So let me get a couple things up and running on my end. Let's see here. That should be good. Hopefully everyone can hear me out there. Okay. 828 gives me a thumbs up. I appreciate that, my friend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, we're going to be jumping to look at the things of the... so as well... Gary, thank you to Gary N. Hey, Ken, what's up, my friend? How you doing, my friend? What's up, what's up? And we'll jump into the markets here in just a dab. Let's see here. Make sure I got this up and running. Hello, Cat. Vencat. This is, make sure sounds okay. Okay, it looks like we're good. I don't want to be in the red here on this little oscillator here. Let's go do that and get this show up and running. Make sure this thinkorswim chart's up. Fantastico. Nice. All right, let me just check one thing. Oh, wrong button. Okay, all right. Should be good in the hood here. Jesus, thanks for this. You're welcome. I enjoy doing it. Yeah, market is closed tomorrow. It's just the futures should be open though. The future should be open. You've been waiting for the stream? Yeah, I try. I normally always do the stream on Sundays at 9:30, and if I do other streams throughout the week, it just really kind of comes down to family time, availability, and just my overall mood. Yeah, it's fun. All right, let's just go ahead and just jump into the charts here. I got the futures up right now for the S&P 500. As of Friday, we had that little bit of a steep little correction. I wouldn't call it a sell-off, but it was a little bit of a pullback here. That was definitely something to be looking for. To look for a kind of a pullback here to the 21 EMA on the daily chart. We are seeing that potentially hold here around that 3,740-ish level, which again, we have talked about that before. So that has kind of come in to kind of look at that bounce there. So really looking forward to that. Gary N with $5 already. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Nice little cup of coffee. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So the futures again, I wouldn't be betting too much into this quite yet, just to be a little bit hesitant or a little bit patient. Again, what are we talking about this week? Okay, we have a short week. We already have Monday. That's not going to be equity market trading. And then we also have inauguration coming out this week. So if you're not familiar with that, that is something here in the United States that we do to bring on the new president. And if you have been under a rock or a coma, or God forbid, you don't own a TV, a radio, or any kind of communication device, but I find strange that you're able to watch his live stream, but there's been a little bit of turmoil here in the Capitol, in DC, and potentially some kind of things. We've got the National Guard over there at the Capitol building and different various capitals around the country looking for a nice smooth transition into the new presidency of Joe Biden. But yes, that is something that could be somewhat of a, I'm not going to say it's going to bring the market down. I don't know. Like nothing could happen. I don't know either, but it's just going to be something that's kind of on my mind. And I appreciate the $5, and I thank you that you enjoy the channel. What is your favorite kind of videos? Do you enjoy the large options trades, the Wall Street bets explanations, or just the live streams? And then the Nasdaq as well. That is, it's down a little bit more, but it's still also holding the 21 EMA. So I just want to kind of keep an even keel on that. Um, to really look for that. Okay, let's go again. We're just gonna jump right into the charts. I saw someone say Apple. Who was that? AAPL. AAPL. I like Apple here, honestly. Again, a lot of the tech stocks have got somewhat of a pullback into Friday, but as of right now, it's still holding above the 34 EMA, which is fine in my book. If we do get somewhat of recovery coming into next week, especially we have earnings season starting. We already had some of the banks come out with JP Morgan, Citi, Wells Fargo, and things like that. We have Netflix on Tuesday, so that's going to be one of the bigger tech folks starting very much right off the bat here. Looking for if Apple doesn't stay above that 127, it does have significant support around the 125 to 124 there on that particular bounce here. With that being said, we do have a squeeze set in place, a volume zone and RSI. If we want to try to trend higher here, maybe get a potential earnings run, we could potentially start seeing these numbers start pulling up. If not, short-term support is going to be coming in where it currently sits, or even down to 25. If that breaks, we could be heading down to like that 120-ish level, which we saw some previous targets hit before. So that's where I kind of have my moving my alerts out going there. If that's being said, if we hold a pattern, we really want to start seeing that one above 138, because again, Apple has earnings coming out the 27th, so not this week, it's the following week. So basically nearly a week and a half away, and the expected move for that week is basically $10. So expect maybe a potential $10 move in the next week or so within Apple. So again, it's going to be very aggressive moves, because it could push us up to that 140 range, which we've seen try to break out before. Marty says UVXY volatility has been on the topic for the last week on Twitter. Yeah, honestly, I'll be straight with you, Marty. It's very difficult to look at. Is it Marty or Maddie? No, okay, sorry. That it's volatility is so difficult to look at. There's literally technical traders and traders that are just study the volatility index, aka the fear index. It looks like it wants to maybe tail up, but I don't know. I think maybe two little things are cooked in. Like, do I think we're gonna have what this happened back in March? Probably not. I wouldn't bet against it, but I wouldn't say this is going to hit that fear like that everyone's going to be turning into zombies. But looking at this particular the volatility has been low, and I think once the power or the presidency has switched over and the new president's in, I think this volatility could drop more. That's just my honest opinion there. Yeah, it could be a crazy week, Tommy. Yeah, I definitely agree. I'm a little hesitant, and I'm going to be light on my feet. Oh, schnipple blah blah. It says Levi. Is that Levi Strauss? Yeah, these wear companies have been doing very well. Again, it's recovering all the way back from where it was basically previously to the pandemic, and has come back fairly strong here. We do have some short-term support around $20. If this trend wants to hold, even has bounced off the 34 EMA a couple times, which could be down to 20, lower 20s to higher 20s for support. But the next overall target would be potentially around 23, with some longer dated targets to $27 on that Fibonacci tree there for you. We did Apple, right? Tesla, says Harry. Tesla, yes, Tesla, of course, what a stock, right? Has been climbing up whole year, even just coming into this year as well, kind of creating somewhat of a sideways pattern. We talked about that those recalls that are going out on the screens from the Model S's and X's, and as well as potentially just kind of calming down here potentially, because again, this thing has been completely fire. Like, we have a little bit of issues trying to get above to that $900 range. I think we're going to be met by it. A couple of short things on the short-term side to look at. We do have the parabolic SDR dots getting somewhat close to it. We did not break past the 8 EMA, but if we do get a break and close below the 8 EMA, we could be coming back down the 221 EMA, which is the yellow line here. So be very mindful of that. But the overall trend is still trying to go higher, and as well be mindful of earnings for the end of the month for Tesla as well. So definitely gonna be doing a live stream that day. Let's see here. How do you feel about cannabis stocks with the Democrats controlling the House? I'm bullish on them. And I agree with Alpaca. I think a lot of things could be priced in already with the cannabis stuff. So I don't think there's going to be like skyrocketing higher, but I think there's definitely some opportunity in a longer term investment, honestly, like with it continue to roll out and so forth. Kelly D says FedEx, yeah, FDX. That has kind of made somewhat of a reversal here. We talked about maybe it hitting the 144 EMA, which is a little green line here. And we also have a fib here at 234. It did not go down to that level. Kind of got an initial bounce here. If we can kind of trade tight here for like a week or two, maybe even longer, or this again, this could just take a very strong V-shaped recovery and come through. But we need to start seeing the 5 and 8 curling through the 21 EMA. And the next really targeted test is potentially the 270 to 273 on the daily chart there to the upside. Thank you, Greg. Netflix looks bearish. I know Netflix does look weird, doesn't it, Alpaca? Like Netflix, I don't know what, like this thing has been literally trading sideways since like the summertime, right? Like just look at this constant pattern. Has not been able to break above 575, and it's staying around the 486, and just kind of been bouncing around left and right. And it's already had 2 earnings because of that. I remember this earnings over here, people got super crazy bullish on, and it just gave them a big smack in the face. I don't know, like I don't like hate Netflix. It's just like more or less like I don't know if people have that problem. I'm like going through Netflix. I'm like, I don't know what I want to watch. Like, there's just maybe it's just too much. Maybe like I don't know. But that being said, we do have some initial support really around the 486. If that breaks, we could potentially coming down to 470 to 475. But really, the upward targets and overhead resistance is around 530 to 550 to the upside. Oh, my chat just updated. 1 second, sorry. Alpaca says, Dave, FYI, Ken is not a THC expert. I am not at all, and Alpaca can speak for me on that 100%. Yeah, we can look at AMD. Yep, let's look at AMD. AMD is one that has been kind of a little bit of a lagger here. I didn't like the way it closed, honestly, on Friday. It was a little bit too far to the downside. I didn't like that. I gave AMD a call. I said, AMD trading gods, can you please make that stock go to 100 ASAP, please? I haven't got a call back. I left it on their voice messaging box. With that being said, we did have some support around 89 that clearly has been broken. We are seeing a squeeze. We do have earnings coming out, so you know my opinion on that, on a potential coin flip. Since this AMD is a very long-term investment for me, I have to hold through earnings, honestly, with my leaps and my stock. If it does start breaking below 86 to 85, I have to be considering trimming the position or transitioning to selling premium instead of just being long those leaps, and potentially have to protect the overall longer term investment from that. With that being said, if we do get a pretty strong recovery off those bounces here, really, honestly, the target is trying to hit that flipping $100, right? GTS says AM who? Exactly. Do you think Dave? Yeah, I don't know, Dave. I think I don't see why not. It seems like I'm not saying it's the easiest thing to get into, but what's the big moat that what Warren Buffett always says about the cannabis stuff? Let's just learn how to grow the plants right, and then have a network to distribute it, and then have a brand or I don't know. Yeah, GTFO, TSM has been a substantially better performer without a doubt. Without a doubt. Looks like chat is updated again. Sorry, guys. Exactly. GTFO said it perfectly. It's like everyone's just tapping out and just giving it, folding over to TSM. What do I feel about the 3D printing space? So I don't know. The one company that I've done the due diligence on and the stuff is NNDM. This is one that has been heavily bought by a lot of funds. ARK has been in it too. In it, a lot of other people have been promoting it, which is a little. I was my little skip. But that being said, the chart has been holding the 21 EMA very well. We had some targets around 1142. We saw that meet nearly the other day, but it has pulled back here. The trend is still trying to break and close above 1142. Excuse me, short-term support around $9.85. Then we have some support around 8.80, and then $8 straight off the bat there. Daniel B says GRWG. Yeah, we can look at that one. GRWG. Oh, I fat finger that one. My bad. GRWG. That's the grant. Yeah. This one has been really good, right? Again, this is within the cannabis industry as well, right? We again very strong trend. Again, we have anything. So a lot of people are literally going to be sitting in front of their computer, having the inauguration on, and then ready to trade because if Joe Biden starts talking about certain industries, like where there are people talking about the EV stuff on school buses, the growth of clean energy, aka solar, wind, whatever, those could be potentially a mover. So it'd be an interesting day on Wednesday to see how everything goes there. Yeah, interesting stuff. Wesley, I have not heard anything from Costco. Not yet, not yet. You want to look at BA and Lockheed? Yeah, BA, even with the news coming out, it has been holding the 200 EMA here, but it is slightly trending lower here. As again, it's not really kind of consolidating here. If we start seeing a break below the 200 EMA, we do have some support around the $200 to 197, but it's not going to be too significant. And on the flip side, we do have earnings coming out as well on the 27th. So got a lot of stuff coming out on the 27th. And last earnings was kind of like it looks like it multiple times going into earnings. It has sold off going into earnings and then like 1 or 2 days after. So what's the expected move for this? It's about $16 for the week of earnings. So be mindful of that. So $16 we're currently sitting to the downside. It could be potentially putting us around that 186 to 187 range on the expected move. In of course, it's plus and minus, so we can go all the way up to potentially the 220-ish range if it does go some positive news. And then LMT, which is Lockheed, right? Again, this has made a nice little recovery since ARK has talked about going into the space exploration and creating that new fund, all that fun and stuff. We've kind of seen that kind of bounce off pretty hard off that low here. Now kind of not really getting the chance to get above the 21 EMA here on the daily chart, with a little bit of hesitance around the, what is that, 355 range, 353, without really getting a chance to kind of bounce off those ranges there. Let's see. There have been a ban on Huawei to use INTC. Yeah, that's the Chinese manufacturer, but we'll see how that goes out. Because again, a lot of folks are betting on Biden being a little bit more friendly and negotiable to the Chinese trade wars. Chris says Netflix shows are garbage. I have to agree with you on that, honestly, Chris. Someone said BlackBerry. Yeah, BB. If Ariel's in there, we can talk about that. With this one, this thing has just had these really enormous moves. There's something, I think there was something, a talk about, gee, if you can tell me something that they're working with like Amazon or something like that, has kind of pulled back here to the, again, kind of making that cup pattern, breaking out again above $8, hitting that fib level around 1086, has not closed above that, but we'll see on how the trading goes into next week. But if it can come back down to potentially hold 911, we could potentially get some consolidation here, maybe build a flag pattern, and maybe try to get back up 11. If not, we could be seeing it coming back down to the 850s to the 773s there. Earl G, what's up, my friend? Hey, Ken, thoughts on SGEN and NVIDIA? Thank you. SGEN, a lot of chop. Not sure. I know it's like a genomics company. Little chop here coming in here, looking like at some issues around 200. We broke above a little bit, but if we do get the 5 and 8 to cross through the 21 EMA, we could maybe get that cake above 190 to maybe 200. The momentum is trying to switch because you can see the RSI and volume zone both peaking up. Let me look on the weekly chart. Yeah, it looks pretty decent on the weekly chart. It has been holding the 21 EMA. So we do have some short-term support around 178 and then even down to 170 for this one. So just kind of like a risk to reward. If it's breaking below 178, could be kind of like a be careful there kind of scenario, because it has some support around 170 to 165 on the daily chart there. And then you said NVIDIA. NVIDIA, GTFO, and I have been in this on and off. I don't know how much he's been in it, but this is just giving me a headache from hell. This has just been so choppy. Like, this is, if you ever talk about chop and kangaroo, this is what you're looking at. This has just been back and forth, back and forth. They would have like a huge like $20 move and then come right back down. $20 move, come right back down, and just chop, chop, chop. And it's really holding that basically 542 and 515 within that, like that $30 range, and has not been able to do much of anything from that without a doubt. And really just looking for that momentum to potentially carry us here. We'll see on how the other earnings could potentially move this to the up or downside. Really looking to see a breakout above like 550 to 562, and then break down to around the 500 to 496 to the downside, if again, depending on which way the market wants to take it. Ben guy says plug. Yeah, plug had those huge bumps higher on some funds buying it and things like that, multiple gaps up, coming back down to the short term, which is the 8 EMA on the momentum side. If it doesn't hold, we're looking for $52.58. So that first support be around like 56.75, and then some short dated support around 52.58. But if that does pull back, we're gonna be looking for the 21 to the parabolics around 45.50 to 43.16 there. David S., what's up, my friend? Yep. What's up? David S., I was in one of their cancer clinical trials. Oh my gosh, David, you had cancer? I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you're feeling better. Stock Up says Beyond, BYND. This thing has been a little choppy here. Again, within that first quarter we talked about, missed pretty bad here. Kind of made somewhat of a recovery, build a base, but then it came right back down to those lows that we saw pre-earnings, or I mean post-earnings. Now trying to spool back up. We have the 5 and 8 potentially trying to cross through the 21 EMA. Again, really look for if we cannot break above that 142 and potentially try to hit 150. Those are really what we're looking for, because again, there was a lot of looks like there's a lot of potentially fresh volume coming into these areas down here to potentially kick higher. This was maybe just kind of waiting to get some of those weak hands out and shake them out and get out of that stock. Jim Cramer says it's time to buy AMD. Well, Jim Cramer does know a thing or two, so I do better believe Jim Cramer says alpaca. That's funny. Let's see here. Yeah, I like NMDM as well. I saw Facebook. Sorry, chat's moving pretty fast. Now I got a lot of folks coming out. You got 75 folks in here. Wow. Nice, nice, nice. Facebook, yes, has kind of made somewhat of a choppy move here. Again, I think the fear is honestly that they're going to not be able, they're going to get regulations against them. They're going to be very strict, maybe potentially break apart with a full Democrats in the House, Senate, and then also in the presidency. We could be seeing that kind of that rule of law come down on those larger tech companies. Initially speaking here in the chart here, we're looking for some support around 250. We highlighted this one on a video. We talked about a potentially buying a straddle or strangle, depending on pertaining to what your capital needs are, and looking for that potentially to kick higher or lower from those levels. Really expecting kind of like, I don't know which way it's going to go, but I'm just going to put this play out here, maybe looking for a large move up or down. ZM I saw, yeah, ZM has been making somewhat of a recovery as well here. Of course, that is the Zoom video conferencing system that I think it's basically kind of in our vocabulary, like, hey, just Google it. Oh, now it's just like, hey, Zoom me. That being said, this trend has been very much going lower ever since like the October timeframe, and has just been trending lower here, really driving through the 21 EMA here. We see that yellow line really printing a lower here. We're really trying to see here if we can get that 5 and 8 to bolster us up through the 21 EMA here, looking for some potential targets around 411 to 430. If those don't hold or we can't break through those levels, we can kind of get a breakdown and come right back down to 390 or below potentially there. Catching a bit of what is your top Biden picks? He says, or maybe ETFs. I would say TAN. That's going to be the one I can just think of right off the top of my head. Honestly, is TAN, TAN. Guzman says BNGO. Yes, this thing has been one that I have been a little bit skeptical of. A lot of folks wouldn't call it a pump and dump, but a lot of folks are buying into this because of its speculation, its new technology, all this fun stuff. With that being said, we are looking for the $8.68 to hold here, to be that level here, was again a key fib here. We do have some short-term support coming around 670 to around $6. If that does start breaking, we're going to be looking for 550 to even the $5 level. And again, we have some significant larger support around 434 though. So be very mindful. This is definitely a very aggressive momentum FOMO kind of stock. And we potentially could seeing some very aggressive pullbacks if people start selling or getting sick of this shiny object. Christopher says OSTK. Yeah, OSTK, that's overstock, right? Kind of varying in like a sideways pattern here. We're kind of seeing it kind of hold the 200 EMA here, so around the $53 to $54 level we're seeing here. But it's having issues getting above 67 to 70. So really just kind of looking for like sitting on your hands and just waiting for if it starts breaking above 67 or starts breaking below 54. Fuzzy Dice says BIDU. Yeah, this has been a rocket ship here. Look at this one. This has just been grinding higher, holding that 5 and 8 moving averages, aggressive here, pulling up here, looking for some overhead resistance around the $200, 252 price targets. If we can get that breaking above that, we're going to be definitely looking for 300 potentially. But again, this stock has been super aggressive here. Being a little bit mindful, it is somewhat extended here. We did, because again, on the RSI, it turned red here, but it kind of pulled back to the 8 EMA. So again, if we do get a little bit hot here and it wants to pull back a little bit, we're going to be definitely looking for some short-term support coming in around the 232 and even down to 212-ish range. Nikola to 100. That has been moving too, hasn't it? Honestly, who knows, right? It could go, right? We've kind of seen these kind of like I don't want to call it a death spiral because it's not. It should have been a death spiral, but it's kind of like these little lasting like heartbeats here. It's kind of going down, heartbeat, going down, heartbeat, potentially continue going down. If we're not really getting above some key ranges here, what we want to look at is this fib here. Oh, please click. I don't know why I'm doing analysis on this chart. Looking for around $23 to $24 potentially to be a target. If that fails, we're going to be coming right back down to $18 to even $14 to the downside for the old Nikola. Makeshift, what's up, my friend? All AMCs come back, or will they try? Will they go bankrupt? Let's see here. AMC, this is the movie theaters. Yeah, I don't know on the fundamentally basis on how much money they're losing. I know they were trying to raise capital from what I understood and what I read. I think that was a couple of weeks ago. They were trying to raise more capital, again, get more investors in the door, sell some of their shares and their ownership in the company to really stay afloat. That being said, we are kind of really flirting on where it was trading back in March. So just on that fundamental note, I'm a little skeptical on that. Again, that is something that I'm a little bit careful about. Really buying these lows here. We've seen that low kind of come in and really strong recovery going out. Honestly, Vincent, I'm going to be a little bit of a contrarian and maybe just super small size. Maybe buy some calls. I'm going to do maybe 60 to 90 days out. Maybe around $3 to $4, and maybe we can get a very strong recovery from that. Just a little bit of the YOLO play right there. David, I've been cancer free for over 5 years. Thanks for S&G stock was 40 at the time. David, I am so glad to hear that, my friend. Opinions on PSTH. That is definitely PSTH, which is the Bill Ackman SPAC. Again, it's a blank check company, so we don't know what they're going to be eventually buying. A lot of premium in this. There's a lot of word they're going to be bringing Robinhood or Stripe or some kind of fintech kind of company. I'm hearing a lot more about fintech than anything else, but they want to bring something to market that could really address large amount of folks. Again, that's what really I guess a lot of people want to really have that large addressable market that can really change the future. What blah blah blah. I guess that's what everyone really searches for. But let's see what it all plays out. With that being said, this thing has been running up super hot. Again, luckily we got in way back here around like the $22 to $23 range and it's been riding up this whole move here. I think once they announce this thing could definitely run up to $33 to $35, even higher depending on what the stock is. This is what the problem is. There is so currently right now all we know is it's a Bill Ackman fund. It's slightly different position than normal SPACs, meaning that I think it pays to stay in the stock through the acquisition and the merger of the stock. But that being said, this is definitely something that has got a lot of premium in it, and just really kind of just got to sit on your hands and wait kind of moment. Anthony and G says, look at that MP. MP is something you want to look at. This thing is again as a minor, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, Anthony. Huge move higher here. It's been holding at 5 and 8 moving averages. Came on a very aggressive pullback. Hit that 21 EMA and it was kind of flirting with that. Had a little bit move higher here. Didn't get to clear basically the 50% move from the swing high to low here. Failed here with the parabolic SAR dots kind of keeping it lower with the trend. Looking for a hold above 30, even down to 28. To maybe again just trade sideways, maybe wait for an earnings event or some kind of other catalyst that could push it higher from where we're currently speaking. Anybody do? All right, folks. Okie dokie. Again, if you're just joining, please don't forget to hit the like button. I would greatly appreciate that. Let me look. Sorry, chat's moving pretty fast. I'm just trying to make sure I covered. Dan saying AMC's gonna have to sell large bag of popcorn for $3,000 to get all their money back. I think it's probably gonna be worth like that to probably sell it for like 30,000. Honestly, Dan, to get all their money back that they lost. They're gonna have to pay a lot of money to get all that stuff back, right? Um, okay, things are moving here pretty fast here. Looks like I saw FL. Is that Foot Locker? Because I own some my longer dated portfolio. I own Nike, and I'm always interested to see what Foot Locker's doing. With this, interesting. So it has come back from its previous low here, holding on $40. Had a huge move higher. It looks like it still pays a nice, healthy dividend too. Okay, 15 cents. That's not too shabby. With this trend, as you can see here, the 5 and 8 again, the 5 and 8 really dictate the very fast momentum side. Because again, the 5 and 8 on the daily chart really just show the movement in a very fast, aggressive moving stock. And again, this is where we're kind of looking at with this fast, aggressive movement coming through here, potentially looking for 50 with some targets initially around 53. I don't see they have earnings in the. Looks like they just had earnings pre on the 11th. Okay, that's weird. So they had it in November, mid-November here. Again, looking for $53 to $55 in the targets up there. Again, once we hear more about the reopening of the economy, people going out and spending money, and just buying those new Jordans or whatever shoes they like to buy now, whatever the popular brand is. I don't even know. Gucci, I don't think Foot Locker sells Gucci shoes, but whatever the most popular brands are, people are buying. I think it's the hot thing. Aren't Nikes always hot? Yeah. What do you think about GNOG? Oh, my good friend owns this as well. Again, has been a little bit choppy to be quite honestly. It has kind of holding the fibs a little bit here. I really want to just stay above the 2017, and this will be just fine trending this way. Because again, the 50 days kind of coming in and for some support if we do get that kind of the momentum to push us higher, but we are having a little bit of issues kind of getting breaking above 23. Again, this is a online gambling, gaming golden nugget. This is not the physical location, from my understanding. This is going to be one of I think it's the second or third largest in the country behind drafts, or is the other one. Looking for a potential higher targets around 23 to 2360, with some longer dated targets to 25 to its previous high. With that being said, it's kind of somewhat in chop mode and dormant mode right now. Foot Locker, FL monthlies are interesting. You talking about the options or the chart? Let me look at the chart here. It's not really. I'm not looking at a Foot Locker here. Whoopsies. It is interesting, somewhat of a retracement here. Let's see. I don't like to draw trend lines, but we'll draw trend lines. Interesting to see if that can play out here. If we can get that target to up around that range, it would kind of make sense because that's where the 1272 is. If that 1272 with really looking for 53 to $63 to potentially see Foot Locker come back if things do really do come back as well. Frank White says MMM. I haven't traded this sucker forever. Let me put this back to weekly. Hang on, sorry. Somewhat kind of consolidating here, kind of like we saw here, very choppy here. This is not like a nice trending pattern holding the 21 EMA. This is just move up, move down, move sideways, move up, move down, sideways. It is slightly moving at an angle higher, maybe at like a 1% or 2% move here, kind of holding the 200 EMA. Coming down here a little bit to the 200 EMA again, we can start getting these curled up again, potentially get that again, really just boosting it higher. Again, full understanding that we do have earnings coming out as well on the 26th of January. So be mindful of that as well when you're trading that. Uh, do, 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 do. Adidas only for me. I love Adidas. Cool company. Wayfair had a great run up in the highest market drop Friday. What do you think? Wayfair. That's the furniture company, right? With that being said here, wow, holy moly. What did they announce there? Were they giving away free furniture? Positive again. I love when they say potentially earnings trend. So this is definitely something to be keen on. This I was kind of beaten down going lower here. Looking again, hit that 200 EMA. So around the $226 range, kind of where the 200 EMA on the daily chart is. Bouncing off here, really kind of reckoning higher here. So that's a nice little move here. That's really hitting an all-time high. Let me just do this here. Wow, I got the $20. Come on. It has not been able to close above its previous high. It did get up there intraday, but it did not able to perform and actually get to that level with a pretty steep pullback coming in there. Because again, it sounds like there was no news. It just kind of jumped up on very high volume, and it just got those algorithms and those folks in there. Short-term support coming around, was that 267 to 279? And then we can easily came up back down the 260-ish range as well. Yeah, but this, if it does have the momentum to stay up in price here, I just feel a little strange here seeing that huge spike up in volume, but then kind of not really give it back here. As long as it stays and closes and maybe gets a rebound here around the 280-ish range, maybe we can get a little bit of a ricochet pattern going on there. Mo says, this guy is a joke, doesn't... Oh, whoops. He's making fun of me. I only do things for pay. Okay, I'm sorry that you feel that way. Peace. God bless you. Sorry, I'm scrolling back. Okay. Linda Smith says a lucky coffee. What's the symbol for that? That's still trading? That's the Chinese Starbucks, right? Sorry, okay. Chat's moving pretty fast. Adam Nash says, do you do GAN already? Interesting play here. Has been really consolidating here, and now the trend is really kind of kicking higher. So I kind of like that. So potentially, maybe like a cup and handle here. So what a cup and handle will be kind of like a. Let me go here to the weekly side. This could be. What is this stock? Holy moly! What is this, dude? That is super interesting. Let me get my little notepad out here. Okay, what's today? The 17th, right? GAN. Look that up, Ken. That's what I just wrote down on my notepad. On the weekly side, I flip and love this, honestly. Who wrote this one? Adam? Was that Adam Nash? Who was that? Yeah, this looks super interesting. A little bit of a longer term play. The squeeze is set up here. The Chaikin money flow and the RSI is building up to potentially kick higher. a little bit of perfect play, kind of sitting on my watch list. Potentially, I'll add it to it. And if we start getting some movement above that 28 range, we could potentially see a breakout with any kind of spike up in volume. So this is something I like to look for. This is a great looking chart here. Z, you want to look at Z? It's Zillow. Oh, yeah, that's a great little move. This is somewhat of a sleeper. This has been on the charts a little bit. We have traded this just a couple times here. Been holding that 21 EMA very well here for the past couple of months here. If it comes down, it just kind of bounces off of it. Potentially a nice little opportunity here to add into it in the short term around 135. It can come back down to 129 to 130, and that trend will still be pretty much intact with some targets to try to hit that 157 to 160 range for Zillow, with some longer dated targets really trying to aim for 200. Okay, so let's see. I already did NNDMD. So NNDM, we're really looking to try to break above 1150 to really get a breakout. But we have a lot of support around the mid 950 range, and then back down to around the $8 range. Nate, I was gonna wait how long it's gonna take to see CCIV. So CCIV is supposed to be the next Tesla. It's a former engineer of Tesla who created this company. He's making these high-end EV sedans as well. Not saying they don't have anything, but it's not a Tesla, right? But a lot of people are trying to get into that early first part of the company. With this one, it has been somewhat of a rocket ship, no pun intended here, really kicking higher. It's going to be very difficult to draw any kind of fibs on it. We can kind of look at this at a shorter time frame. We're going to be looking here at the 1 hour chart. So we're going to be the 20-day 1 hour chart. Initially, since the announcement and the merger time frames, we've seen it kind of come down to the 34 EMA on the hourly chart a couple times and bounce off of that. That's the only kind of like technical side that we can really look at. So coming into next week, kind of maybe potentially keep this on a short time frame. Unless you just want to invest in it, you should just buy it and forget about it. What I've done. Smaller size, but looking for a potential bounce here off the 34 EMA on the hourly chart. We've seen a little bit of a approval going through there. Do uh, Upright says RDGL FDA approved, may be announced Monday. So I don't know what the company is. I'm not the world's largest fan of F. Oh, sorry, RDGL of Farmer. Yeah, it's a penny stock. Like this is going to be a little bit too manipulative for me. I'm sorry, especially with a pharmaceutical stock. Is this going to be a little bit of not fun at all? Someone asked for oh, sorry. Thoughts on OSTK, Sir Raj? OSTK has just been holding. Like we want to see it break out above 66 to 67, and then downside around 53. It's just been consolidating for a couple weeks now, and really just kind of sitting on your hands to see which way it makes move from there. For Apple, I also said Apple, we're really looking to hold it around 125, but it could pull back to 120 if we do get some of a market, not saying sell off, but some more potentially pressure going in. But I think I suspect a fantastic quarter, and I own Apple in the long run as well. I saw Net. So Net is another great. Oh, sorry. Net. Somewhat of a choppy move that's been performing very well, holding that 200 EMA very well. Now it's kind of been choppy here for the last 2 or 3 weeks here. Came down to the 50-day, bounced really hard, so that's a nice indication of the trend really trying to stay higher here as well. It is staying above the 34 EMA for the most part, so above 76 in the short term is fine, but it can come back down to 73, even down to 71 for a potential bouncing pattern. The only thing I want to be a little bit careful about, if it starts breaking below 73 to 74, if those parabolic SER dots switch to the top, we could potentially start printing lower here a little bit due to the pressure of that. But of course, with looking to try to break above 85, then of course test that $90 target to the upside. Daniel B, yes, Lucky Coffee got in trouble with, I believe, with our SEC on faking numbers or something like that, on saying that they sold more cups of coffee than they did it. Let's see. Woof, is that a real stock? Wow. Oh, it's Petco, Health and Wellness Company. Wow, I didn't know that they went public again. They've been public like 5 or 6 times, right? Like they've gone, they go public, and then like 2 or 3 years, a private equity company comes in, buys them, bundles things back up, and then kicks them back out in the public market. Nothing really to add here, honestly, because it's only been trading for 2 days. It's a newer IPO as usual. Looks like the 34 EMA is having issues here to try to get above that, but there's not really too much to add there for Wolf since it's just been for 2 days. Linda Smith says LKNCY. Okay, that's the new Lucky Coffee. Let's see what the hell that they're doing. LKNCY. Yeah, this looks very familiar. This company. If it can, okay, looks interesting. It's at $9. Holy moly! This thing is crazy. I shorted it right up here around $40, and then it came right down to like 30. I thought it was a genius, and I got out. And then like a week later, they had that fraud stuff come out, and then they dropped like a rock down to $6 or $7. Yeah. You're never too smart for the market. I promise you that. You're always learning. Interesting, honestly. This thing looks like I don't know. Again, I'm not going to be looking at the fundamental side of things, but on the chart, the momentum is trying to carry us higher. As long as it stays above 9, it can even come back down to 825, which is the 7 or the 21 EMA. That trend is still looking higher. I don't know. Looks like they had some kind of earnings here, or something happened here that really kicked off the move here. Interesting looking at that around December 16th there. But yeah, it looks interesting. I'll be a little bit careful though, since it's already, maybe, I don't know, like, would you do fraud again if you were caught fraud the first time? Like, they're like, yeah, they're not going to catch us twice. Like, I don't know what the thought process behind that is. All right, sorry, a lot of chats going in, guys. Thank you so much for coming out. I really do appreciate it. Hit that thumbs up if you're enjoying the content so far. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, looks like a lot of people are asking about. Hold on here. Matthew SNDL. Yeah, that's the penny stock that has made that crazy move, the canopy, right? It's looking interesting here. Potentially, if it does run up here, we're looking for $1. I can't add too much to this because it is a penny stock, and there's not really much for me to add there. I don't know the fundamentals, to be quite honest with you, on that one. GME, yes, people have been asking about GME, GameStop, of course. This thing has been in a short squeeze, and wow. With these very large moves higher here, we talked about some initial short-term support around $33.70, even some more support around $27 to the downside. But if we can get any kind of momentum and this to continue, we're really looking for 45 to 48 with the key target around $50. But dude, Justin Park says MARA. This is to do with Bitcoin, right? I always get these two confused. Like that ticker always reminds me of like Marathon Oil, for some reason. But anyways, this thing has been a absolute rocket ship here. Of course, with the really large expansion of Bitcoin and everyone just getting with the frenzy of that, really seeing that 5 and 8 moving average is really still propel the stock higher. Again, that 5 and 8 is that aggressive momentum stuff. We talked about initially some resistance around 27.50, have not been able to break above that. Short-term support really comes in around $20.86. If that doesn't hold, we can be coming back down to 17.50 to the 17.14 range for that level there. Justin also says, any thoughts on BNGO next week? BNGO, yeah, I gotta be very careful. This one, I don't own this one. But this again, a little bit driven by, I wouldn't say just the fundamentals. I say more or less on the FOMO and then the fear of missing out and then just momentum. And if it starts breaking above $8.68, we could potentially see it to 10. But that being said, be very mindful that some short-term support around the $6 to around the $5.46 there. So be a little bit hesitant on this one. Again, there is a lot of folks potentially trying to scalp this and get in front of it from you. Yeah, it looks like a lot of people love Petco. Again, I don't own pets, so I have no understanding of pet love. Don't get me wrong, I love animals, but I don't own an animal, so I think it's like I'm not in their demographic, if you know what I mean. Like I know a lot of people because they do for Petco they have the services for like basically training. They can train your dog. They can leave your dog over there when you go on vacation. I guess what is that called? Um, Vacation hotel for the dog. And they also do grooming, right, for your dogs. So they basically have everything covered on top of having the food and all the toys and leashes, right? Okay, hold on. Tyrone says TMHC Taylor Madison Home Builders currently at $24.82. TMHC. Yeah, looks like the all-time high from last year is around 28. A little bit of choppy here coming in here. If we can't stay above 24 to even 23.50, we could be seeing some potential downsides on that. With last earnings, it kind of sold off going to earnings, so we do have a question mark. So that means Thinkorswim doesn't know the exact date of its earning, has not been announced yet. With that being said, it could be a nice risk to reward if you're buying it now, and if it starts breaking below 23, just get out. But looking for some targets around 28 to even $30. Again, I think the home builders are doing great. I've not heard of this one in particular. I'm more like in tune with the KB homes as well there, and then of course Lennar. But it sounds like this is kind of the same thing, right, Tyrone? Alpaca says SCI. I think you talked about this one. Is this the agriculture one? Service Corp. Like, so I think we talked about this one. I wanted to add it around 48 because it had that squeeze set in place, but it really didn't go much anywhere. Um, hmm. I'll have to look into this one a little bit more, Alpaca. I kind of still like it, but it would have to be a little bit longer term play for me. Just by looking at it, we have some initial strong support around 48 to 80 here, but really looking for, again, it has tried to get back up to 52 to $53 pretty easily, because you can see that large candle here towards November, and of course, excuse me, the previous moves from the before the pandemic. So yeah, it could be a nice risk reward. It could just be. I like this very tight consolidation though. That's very attracted here. And then MNED. It's not. It's not loading for me. Is that the MMEDF? Is that that other one? This one? Wow, that thing has really come up. Alpaca. I'm buying this. I'm buying it. Alpaca, alpaca, alpaca. MMEDF. So the risk. So I'll tell you why I'm buying it. Huge run higher. A lot of folks bought into it potentially on the way up. They got shooken out. They don't like to wait a couple weeks. Now it's building this beautiful base up. The following parabolic SAR dots are coming down. It has not broken above the $3.30 range, which is a Fibonacci number. Has staying above the 21 and 34 EMA very beautifully. We have a beautiful squeeze RSI and volume zone ready to be ripe to print higher here. So potentially even test $4 if it does get a print higher, to even maybe past $5.15. So this is something, I don't think I can even trade this on Tastyworks. MMEDF, right? Yeah, I can't. Won't let me trade it. So I don't know how I'm going to get a hold of that. I might have to buy it on my longer term account. But yeah, great chart, my friend. ACB, Aurora, another marijuana. With that being said, yeah, this is a nice little move higher. It's trying to test and break above the 200 EMA on the daily chart here, to see how that one plays out. Again, I think there's a lot of folks buying into this stuff because, again, a Democratic president, Senate are a little bit more loosey-goosey, no pun intended, on the marijuana laws, and really just kind of enacting it as legalizing it at a national level. Bing Zing says, "Hey Ken, what do you think about INDX?" INDEX. So this is something I have traded a little bit just on swings around the 21 EMA here. It has not really get above the $3.30 for a while here. It has not closed above it. Like, it has not closed above that. It has run up it intraday, but it has come right back down. We do have some initial support around the 280 to 275 ish. In the short term, if that breaks, we're going to be looking for like $2.40, and then back down to $2 there. But to print higher, it needs to start getting above $3.30 and close above it. But it can break up to $4 intraday, but come right back down. Again, this is somewhat ripe still for somewhat day trading rather than just kind of a longer term investment. Let's see here. Oh, I just missed someone. Oh, shoot. Oh, hold on. I just missed something. I saw Chris. Chris says UAVS. Nice. Oh my gosh. Wow. That's a nice looking chart. A little bit, it looks like it just has these huge runs higher than trade sideways, huge runs higher and trade sideways. Again, this run could last for a while, but I would be potentially to bet money on it. Once the favor gets out of it, this could just trade sideways for a little bit. David S loves MMEDF. Yeah, I don't know why Tastyworks won't let me trade it. Gotta get on that. It's an OTC. Yeah, they say that's exactly what it is. Tyron, yeah. What markets are they in, Tyron? Are they in like the larger like demographic markets? Are they like on the east and west coast? The print is a little too small. Yeah, I'm in the process of buying a 4K T or 4K monitor, so hopefully I can up the resolution a little bit so folks can see it a little bit better. We did talk about CCIV already. It's something that is very much a speculative play. Again, you're really just betting on. I'm not going to say it's going to be the next Tesla. That's what some folks are saying in the headlines. But it is a former engineer. I think they said it's a lead engineer from Tesla that has left, and now it's creating his own back company from other investors to really excuse me, to compete in the same market as Tesla, the Model S. That being said, we'll see how that plays out. Again, more competition is great. I'm not saying no to competition, but I think the EV market with SPACs and just these huge markets are just kind of a little bit of saturated, and it's going to be very difficult to find which is the greatest company right now. From my perspective, I just think Tesla is still the greatest in that market. With NIO, speaking of another EV company, being a little bit careful here, looking for a potentially lower prices, potentially coming in around $55 to $53. Again, that NIO day came and then it went, really with no potential other large catalyst unless they are surprises with something with NIO. With that being said, I'm a little bit not hesitant, but a little bit skeptical of like how much lower could this go? Because again, there's going to be people like, oh, I thought it's going to go to 100 because of NIO day, like the same scenario that we happened to happen to Tesla with their battery day and their overall breakdown of what the future's move could be, especially with their battery technology. But people are like, what? I have to wait 2.5, 3 years for this? Oh no, I'm out of this. See you later. I think it's the same thing kind of happening with NIO. David says PE. Yes, this is the one that you helped me get into last week here. With the squeeze firing long for 2 days, it has come down to the 8 EMA to $6.75. But if it comes back down to around that like below 650 and that squeeze maybe gets back into play here, we could maybe just kind of just resume that sideways action to potentially wait for another kick higher here with again some short-term out getting out around 550 to $5.50 there. Oh, okay, that'd be great, Alpaca. If MMEDF could join the Nasdaq, that would be very lovely. Carlos, we talked about Apple, but we can cover it really quick here as well. Apple really wanted to stay above, kind of hold above the 127. It can come down to 125, and that trend will be just fine here. But that being said, I'd be very little careful here on that movement here. Again, with earnings on the horizon, I don't want to make any large bets on this because of with earnings coming up again. My opinion on earnings, it's a coin flip, so we have to be very mindful of that. With that being said, if it does go lower, we have some initial support around 120 to 117. But me being optimistic, we're potentially looking to test that all-time high around 138 to 140 to kind of see Apple print higher again. I think a lot of people bought iPads. I think a lot of people bought AirPods for their holiday season for gifts. So yeah. Let's see. Drew asking for TLRY. TLRY. Yeah, Tilray. So I got to give a little bit of disclosure on this one. I was the son of a gun here who traded this all the way up here. I remember seeing it at $300, and I was trying to short it, but it was just halted so many times. All these other shenanigans was going on, and it just continued to grind lower from that point on. Like I was like, this is way too much of an extreme move. This should not exist. And I was trying to buy puts at the time, and it was just like being halted. The bid and the ask were absolutely insane. But this thing has been collapsing ever since then here on the weekly side. But of course, now getting more love due to the potentially overturning, not overturning, the I guess inducting the use of marijuana as a national level being legal. So we'll see how that plays out. I think a lot of people are betting towards that. We'll definitely see how that plays out. Karen, this is, can we do a look at Microsoft? Oh, I know. Like, I own Microsoft. So I'm just selling premium in this one, honestly, because like, look at this. This has just been chopping back and forth. It has not been able to get above $225, and it's kind of bouncing off 210. Kind of like Nvidia and those stocks of like that. Those larger FANG stocks have just been super just bouncing around and not really going anywhere in the last coming months. It's just like chop, 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 chop. So really playing this as if it starts breaking above 225, that's a nice little breakout. If it starts breaking below 210, that's more of a breakdown, if that makes sense. Can we do Jax? Wow. I think we cover this one honestly for you, Silent. With that huge move higher, still holding that 5 and 8, short-term support around $3 with some longer support around 230 to 212 with some targets trying to hit is that $5 level there as well. So interesting trade. Be very careful there. SBE I saw. Let's see. SBE. Yeah, this thing, the Switchback Acquisition Company, same kind of pattern here. Huge move higher, holding that 21 EMA, coming down to the 34, having a little bit of issues trying to get above 45 on that the overall trend there. But if that support holds above 40, even down to the 37, we potentially could get a nice bounce and maybe try to test above 45. Or we could just be trading sideways for some time to see how this plays out. But I think this is somewhat of a component within the potential deal that President Joe Biden could be talking about of getting EVs more mass produced in charging stations. PLTR I saw as well. PLTR, same kind of pattern here. It has been holding this pattern ever since like its previous high here. Has not been able to get above 28, and it's not really broken below 24. So it's been staying in like this $4 range for quite some time here. really huge volume coming in towards the end of the day on Friday here. If we can get a move higher, we need to really break above 28.42. If it wants to crash and kind of burn, we have some support coming in past 24 around the 23, even down to $21 level there. Alpaca says I'll never understand people that buy Apple products. It's I don't understand it either, but sometimes you don't have to understand it. It's just easier to make money. It's kind of keep it. It's the KISS method, Alpaca. Just keep it simple, stupid. People love their products. They're cool. They're sexy. Whatever other phrase you want to put in there. I have the iPhone. It works great, but I don't have many of their other products. Um, let's see here. We did look at AMD. We talked about AMD. It has some stronger support around 85 to 86. If that starts breaking, we could see it go potentially lower here. We really want to see it recover pretty strong around that 86 to $85 level to get a bounce higher to really get back above $90 to kind of get back in that sideways action and kind of get the things back on track there. O Schmidt says, is Intel a good buy here? Intel. Wow. Yeah, huge move higher on that gap up news. Hit right into that $59 price target again, where we had that Fibonacci sequence coming in. That being said, with earnings on the horizon, to be very mindful of that as well. So that definitely could be somewhat of a hindrance as well. If we want to get above 60, which is again somewhat of its previous issues that we've seen before, even so pre the overall pandemic was trading around $66. I think it has got lost a little bit of that premium due to the fact of AMD and TSM really moving forward with a lot of newer technology and getting into those a little bit better nano dimensioned chips with more processing power, losing less heat, losing less energy, all that fun stuff. With that being said, we do have some short-term support to the downside around 55 and then support around 52 for some stronger support that level there. But upside targets potentially looking for $60 to $62 to potentially be some overhead pressures. David S is asking for yeah, we did this one as well. So this one is definitely going to be something I think is tied to the blockchain. So initial support around 22 because again we're holding that 5 and 8 moving averages, which have been fairly aggressive. But we do have significant support around 17.59 to $18. But to the upside, we really want to see it break above 27.55 to potentially even test 30 to the upside there. Seth is BFT. What do you think about it? The PaySafe merger. Thank you for announcing what SPAC it was. I do appreciate that. There's just so many right now, right? Like, which SPAC is this one? I know this is one of Chamath Palihapiti's. I know it's IPO A through Z, but which one is it? Like, it's always good to know that. With this one, again, a lot of these SPACs, if people like it and they enjoy it, it's just going to hold the 5 and 8 moving averages, maybe come down to 21 EMA, which we're kind of seeing in here, to potentially cake higher here. With that being said, if we can stay above that $14.80 to $15 and we get some consolidation with some more volume coming in and maybe print this higher, we can easily see this shoot, excuse me, shoot back up to that $17 range there. Jeremy Jen, yeah, we did AMD. AMD, it just needs to get back above $90. 85 to 86 are somewhat of support, but we're really just trying to get that back up to try to hit $100. Like that hasn't hit $100 with a target around $100. If it doesn't hold 86 to 85, it could be going back down to 80 as well. Oh shoot, my chat is updated. Sorry, 1 second. Shoot, my bad. Val. Yeah, Val I like a lot because that's like more not a copper play, but it's more like the industrial kind of like building stuff. This one has I like this one quite a bit actually. I own Leaps in this one. Did come back down to the 1750 range, but again, what we like to follow is that 21 EMA potentially being support. Again, it was down 7% in 1 day, so that's pretty insane for this kind of company here. It's not like a Tesla or anything like that. With that being said, if that holds the 200 or the 21 EMA and the parabolic SAR dots above 1750, we could see some consolidation. If we don't see that consolidation, we could potentially see that come down to the 17 to even the $15 range, which again is where the 50-day is. We have seen an astronomical move in the stock over the past coming months, so it wouldn't be too much out of favor for some kind of pullback. We do have some targets above 20, with some longer dated targets above $25 for the Dow. The random guys asking about QS. Yes, QS. Trying to get their solid state drive battery system up and operational. And this is the stuff that NIO talked about during their live stream and their conference regarding their new battery technology, that they can get a 50 kilowatt battery within the solid state side and get it up to 650 miles to travel on that single charge, which is very impressive. Very impressive, honestly. But that being said, QS has been working on it. Of course, Tesla has been working on this solid state battery tech. This is coming down to around the 8 or the red line, which is the 50 SMA here. If we do get a bounce here, we potentially can get it move up to around that 65 to 60s range. But it could be some tight consolidation going out this one. This is again has had this again. This stock was more than it was an acquisition, it was a SPAC. Moved higher, moved really high. Like it went up to. Excuse me, I'm getting really tired here. Went all the way up to $132 and then came right back down. So this thing has had a lot of movement, and a lot of damage has been done to it because it has pulled back very drastic with a huge gap downs as well. Tim is asking for FUBO. Yeah, FUBO has been also huge run higher, just like QS, and now it came back and now trying to recover here. But we're still seeing a little bit of issues with the parabolic SAR dots. Again, these are kind of help us show the trend line here, with the purple dots still being above the chart or above the overall candlesticks, meaning there still could be potentially downside pressure coming in. So initially some short-term support around 30. That doesn't hold. We're looking back down to 25, with some key breakout targets above $40 to $45. Rob is asking. We did plug. Plug is just kind of trying to hold the 21 EMA. Let's see. RMO. That's a battery company too, right? Roman or something like that. Yeah, this one again. Hold came down. It's holding the 34 EMA. The momentum has not switched yet because it's still really much red. And the volumes on also is trying to get out of negative territory here to maybe print higher here. So we'll see on how that one plays out. but with some targets to try to get above 25 to 26. But again, also as falling parabolic SR dots kind of come into play here. Jim, we have not done Airbnb, but we can take a look at it. Meow says, do you think Tesla will pair with Tesla in making batteries? Are they leading producers of nickel, which could be in batteries? Really? Okay, I didn't know that rumor. Is that a rumor, or is that like I've never heard that officially speaking? You're talking about Val could be partnering with Nikola? Is that what the question or the statement was? Zynga, ZNGA. This one as well, just chop, 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 chop. Yeah, has had a lot of issues trying to get back above 10. Is in a squeeze here. If we stay above $9.50, we could maybe get that squeeze higher through 10 to maybe test its all-time high around $10.68. But this is not my favorite kind of chart or favorite kind of stock to trade. It's below like $10. A, B, and B, Airbnb. What a move, right? Like, whew, whew. With this huge move higher, okay, it had like this IPO like cup here and a base. Shot up here, did not get above the 190 range. Again, that's a key Fibonacci level. Then sold off quite a bit on the Friday here, but still came down and held above 163. So if it stays above 163 and starts trending higher and starts trying to get above 175 on the ticks and with the following of the 500 EMA, that trend looks pretty good. Let's do a couple more, then I'm going to call it a night. I'm getting a little bit tired here. Sorry, folks. Let's see. I saw Snap fly through as well. Here, let's do Snap. Snap is an interesting chart without a doubt. Again, pretty significant pullback the last 2 or 3 days for Snap, but it has been holding that 34 EMA. It can come back down to the 49 to 46, and things would still be somewhat trending here. We do have a squeeze. If you remember from last quarter, they had a very large deviation move to the upside, with a lot of more folks spending money and ads with the old Snapsos. And again, that potential targets above its all-time high around $57, with some targets around 65 to 70 to the upside. UVS, yeah. I just think we haven't done that one, Chris. I thought I did that for you. I'm sorry. Yeah, UAVS again. UAV stuff. Again, it's been holding that 5 and 8 moving averages, but it has not been really looking for any kind of significant pullback yet. Again, significant pullback again has had these run higher and then pulls right back down. The reason why I'm a little bit hesitant is because it has not even really closed very much below the 8 EMA on the daily side. So it's a very fast, heavy, momentum-driven stock, and it's usually not my favorite kind of cup of tea. Yeah, I wonder if Elon Musk will partner with Val. Elon said on a call interview that he just needs more Nikola for its batteries. He told all companies to make more. You know how Elon was. He's always transparent, right? Let's see here. David S. says the CD Projekt Red looks like it beaten down with their release of server. What do you think? Yeah, I saw that on Steam the other day on how so much love that game got. It's fairly strange to see that. With this being said, you can see that hype train coming out here. Whatever did it came out the first week of December, right? And of course, pretty much straight after that, it just came crashing down here. Yeah, very much beaten down without a doubt, David. It has had issues to try to get above the 21 EMA. It has not really formed a base for my my charting purposes to try to even make that recovery. So I really don't know how to I would have trade this. We did NIO as ready. We're looking for NIO potentially to come down to 55 to 53. If it does hold and make a recovery from that, we're looking for back up to 60 to 62. Do. F cell. Yeah, I haven't looked at that one for a while. Again, huge run higher here. We're seeing this kind of time and time again here. Looking for this potentially to hold here. It's holding the 5 and 8 moving averages. Um, it looks like it has slightly broken below that. With short-term support be around 14 to 14, sorry, 14.50 to $14 if it does pull back to that level. If that really wants to rip lower and the parabolic SAR switch doesn't hold and goes to the top, or it could be looking for $12 to the downside, even back down to 9. Again, a very fast-driven stock here because again, this stock was what $2 or $3 just a couple months ago, and now ramping up due to the whole EV battery kind of stuff, hype stuff. Let's see here. Rob is saying TEL to the moon. As it 2 L's. Tell to the moon. I haven't seen that there. Yeah, a lot of these. Is this like a weed stock or something? Because this has been breaking out above some key averages here. To the upside here. So this is definitely something to look out for. It has looking at strictly the chart. I have no idea what this company does. It has been making a cup and handle here, and it has broken out from the previous high around 168 to 169, and it looks like it potentially could be printing higher here. Christopher's asking for DGLY, Digital Ally. Interesting. Again, holding very tight here, getting a little blips here. Not my favorite kind of setup, to be quite honest. It is looking interesting on the chart, though. Let me look on the weekly side. Yeah, very choppy here. Very choppy. I kind of like it better on the weekly side. Potentially some support around 250, and then looking for some targets around 4 to 450 initially for the upside. Chris, thanks for the $2. Would you check out SNDL again? SNDL, SNDL. That's another marijuana. So this one's kind of building a kind of cup and handle. So if you're not familiar with that pattern, so that kind of just kind of trades lower, makes that U shape. Now it's kind of just trading sideways here. We're looking for a potentially some volume to come in. So we get some heavy added volume, we could easily kick up to that $1 range. So this is definitely one to kind of keep on the radar. Of course, also with longer term trade with or Democrats entering all offices. Let's see here. Let's do a couple more. Jeremy says, hey, how can you learn to read the stock graphs like he's doing? Seriously, trying to learn. It's a lot of work. I've been doing it for so many years, and it's just kind of like figuring out what pattern works for you and just kind of trying a lot of things and just continuously coming into the market and trying to learn. Seth, what's XL? Is that the fleet company? Oh yeah, a little bit hesitant with this one. I didn't understand this one. This is kind of like a Helion or Halion. It sounded like a Nikola from what I read initially. Again, came out strong, then kind of sold off here, looking for continuously just holding that 5 and 8 to the downside here. If we go to the hourly chart here on a smaller time frame here, it has been super choppy, not being able to get above that 23 range without a doubt, and basically looking for some support, maybe around 20. If 20 doesn't hold, we could see a nice little flush lower to the downside. Is there a way you can take a look at DRIV, Global FDS? Wow, that's a nice looking chart there, my friend. It's been holding very steadily here, kind of coming back a little bit in the short term to the 8 EMA, but we've seen that kind of hold here even on any pullbacks for the last couple of months, but with some stronger support coming potentially to 24 to 25. Really hard to look at some fib targets to the upside, potentially looking for 30 to 32 if this trend wants to continue, really holding that 5 and 8 moving averages. But that's a very good looking chart, my friend. Hope you've been in it and been able to prosper from it. SCNE, Sony, of course, with the new PlayStations, could be a catalyst for its earnings coming out towards the first week of February. Initially looking for some short-traded support around 100, even down to 97 to the 34 EMA. But I think this trend could be potentially getting an earnings run into earnings because of the PlayStation 5 and all its goodness. But do IZEE. What was it? I'm sorry. IZEA. Okay, some kind of like almost like a cup pattern as well. It has risen higher, traded like a U-shaped bottom here, broke out from the $3 range. If we do get a little bit more volume coming in than average, which we did see a little bit, we're potentially looking for $4 or higher at those levels there to the upside. But to the downside, support around 250 in the short term. PEC, PECK, never heard of that one. This is a SPAC. No, it's a penny stock. Crazy move on some kind of move here, potential earnings or whatever, has just continued to look higher. All right. On that, folks, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so very much. I do apologize. I am a little bit tired. I didn't sleep very well last night, and I am kind of a little bit not having the energy to continue, and I really do apologize. I'd like to go at least 2 hours, but I feel myself kind of getting woozy here. That being said, I do appreciate everyone coming out. If I didn't get to your question, I really do apologize. You can leave a comment on the video or join the Discord and ask your question there, and I'll try to get to you as soon as possible, most likely tomorrow morning, because I'm just going to go brush the old teeth and just jump into bed. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. If you have any video ideas, if stocks you want to look at some interesting options activity, again, please share and we'll do some deep dives and analysis on it as well. And as well, before I let you go, check out the affiliate links down below for Amazon. And if you're interested in creating a Tastyworks account, those are down there below as well. And again, guys, thank you so very much for coming out, and I appreciate this live stream. I'm going to go get some beauty sleep because I definitely need my beauty sleep. All right, guys, take it easy, be safe, and safe tradings. And we'll see how Tuesday opens up with some of the futures actions tomorrow. Because again, tomorrow the market is closed due to the observing of MLK Day, Martin Luther King Day. So guys, thank you for all that, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.